Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to this beautiful world. This is Climate Kayak and Conversation. My name is Will, and we are going all the way from Miami, Florida to Norfolk, Virginia over 3 months. And for this video, along with my travels, I'm also going to want to talk about all of the amazing animals that I see along the intercoastal waterway here. As much as I would love to talk about all the amazing animals that call the intercoastal waterway home, as you will see during this video, I have the worst day I have ever had on the water. And yeah, this video is not going to be about animals. That'll have to be next video, because I think it's important to talk about this. I think it's important to talk about mental health and decision making, and I don't want to say crisis situations, but intense situations. What decisions do you make and why? So let's talk about that. Maybe not tonight though, because I think I just need to process what happened today. I'll see you guys in September. Absolutely.
Alright, paddle safe.
Thank you guys.
See you. Good to see you.
Life is a
Good to see you too.
winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights.
They're doing this stuff.
And I really wanna know, if I'll ever figure out where the road goes.
As an archaeologist,
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs.
Life is short.
You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.
So we officially had our goal this morning, and we ever had on the water here. Woke up, we were on the backside of Daufuskie here, and it was 55 degrees in May. 55. Now, it was colder further north, obviously. Up in Raleigh, it was 48, but man, 55 when I got up, that was a little chilly. So I tucked myself in my sleeping bag for a little bit longer this morning. I'll get up eventually though.
So I'm here on Daufuskie Island, and I'm walking around with Roger Pickney, who is a historian here on the island. He's been here for decades, and the purple house you see behind me is a house that he used to live in. This whole string of houses has been here since the 80s, and he was telling me that to the beach side here, there used to be 300 feet of beach, and now there's almost nothing left. And there's a whole bunch of factors in there, from beach erosion to sea level rise to more extreme storms creating ever more erosion that I don't know how much longer these houses have. And this is a problem that's happening all over the United States East Coast, as well as almost every coastal community, that they're having to deal with these infrastructure problems that is not conducive to a coastal ecosystem like this. There's a lot of stories here, but this is just one, and it's a very similar story in a lot of different communities. But it's a hard conversation to have about what's happening and why it's happening. So then behind me here, we're now a little bit further down on the island, and this place is a old resort that opened up in the 80s. It's changed hands a few times and then closed in like 08. It was really hard to maintain, and so they ended up just boarding it up. I gotta believe that there's some environmental issues with boarding it up, but it's too expensive to renovate and it's too expensive to demo, so it just kind of sits here. But also we're looking at Hilton Head Island. So we're right across the inlet from Hilton Head Island here, and I cannot understate sell how much the difference between Daufuskie Island here and Hilton Head Island. Completely different. To the point that a lot of the locals here on Daufuskie call that Hilton Hell. Crazy. There's a lot of stories that I'm gonna see if I can get some clips for Roger here to share, because he knows it better than I do.
Well, it's a gift that I want to leave to my grandchildren, and I'm been elected to public office here, and I'm trying to keep growth controlled and sustainable and common sense, and so discouraging any sort of high-rise buildings, insisting on water quality. We just went to through the administrative process to have some abandoned fuel tanks to get those tanks evacuated, and we got that done. That's a major accomplishment. Just live life the way I like to live it. Be free. I mean, get up in the morning and let the dog out and check my email. We got high-speed internet over here now, let me tell you. Just got it last month. I'm a writer, work on my stories, visit with my friends, don't get too excited, and I think this is the way life should be for everybody.
And our first piece of trash of the day is a Ziploc bag with a very dubiously colored liquid inside. Not even gonna open it. Always a great way to start the day. Easily could have had an animal munch on that or ingest that, or, you know, whatever it's gonna be. It's not great for the wildlife, that's for sure.
Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs.
Howdy.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Woodmill Harbor.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. So we're just going through our first lock. That's pretty cool. Which also, I gotta believe, makes things super protected in here. Oh, that was so cool. Gotta get a picture of this.
Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down.
So, I've kind of realized that I have not done a good video. I'll say good video of me setting up my tent. So, this will be that video. Well, hello there. So, we have made it to Hilton Head Island, which was not originally planned. However, I'm not saying that this was a bad idea, because this is actually really great. I have met a gentleman by the name of Chris Brigham, who is another avid sailor and environmental, I would say, enthusiast. And he and his family have welcomed me in for the day, which is a great time to get some more computer work done, meet some great people, and kind of hear some of the stories about what's happening here on Hilton Head Island. Now, this is a fairly large island, so just one story is not all-encompassing. I understand that. But, you know, the more stories we get, the better. And just from our brief conversation so far, some of the first things that I'm hearing is that there are way more flood warnings now than there have been in the past, particularly at high tide. So, high tide flooding. And that's something that I really think is an important thing to talk about for a lot of these communities, because as sea levels rise, hardened structures don't adapt well to sea level rise, and so as you get more high tides, more high tide flooding is going to happen, and that's only going to get worse. So much.
Our pleasure. Come on, Bob. Don't let him beat you. He's got power. You got a dinosaur-powered engine there.
There we are. Thanks so much, guys. That sound, or really any sound of metal breaking, is never a good sign, and this is no different. Although I did not actually catch it on video, you can see me here attempting to repair my Mirage pedal drive system. Due to wear, tear, and harsh conditions, my back fin post had completely sheared off. On top of all of that, a strong headwind, opposing current, and 2 to 4 foot swells was not making for a fun time. I decided not to finish the repair, but instead sail the rest of the way to Beaufort without pushing my pedal drive system any further with only one functioning fin. Mentally, here, I'm at a breaking point. Really? Right now! Right now! So today officially is the worst day of the trip. Like, yeah, worst day. By a long shot. Long shot. Worth it. We are making progress now. I am in a really bad headspace right now. Like, really bad. But just like everything, this too shall pass. We will get to our marina tonight. I will wear dry clothes. But right now, I am wet. I'm cold. Hey friends, family. Today sucked. Like, really bad. However, to the gracious, kind people, family of Traveler, the sailboat up behind me here, I'm safe. There was a part of me that didn't think I would make it today. Like, I had tried to throw out my anchor didn't hold, I tied up to a moored boat, that was not great, and they came by and saved me. So thank you, family of Traveler, here in Beaufort. I'm thankful that I'm tied up right now. But it was a hard day. There was a moment of the day where I wanted to give up. A serious moment where I wanted to give up today. I'm not going to. But I thought about it. I cursed. It was bad. I was in a really bad headspace. But, you know, it's not always going to be smooth sailing. Things happen, things break. So, now that I'm here, tied up, I can spend the time to repair, and if there's anything that I need, I'm gonna do it. That's not tonight. Tonight is recuperate, try things out. Also sad, when I opened things up, I think I heard my little tent rig awning here, my little tent pole for that. I think I heard that go overboard as soon as I opened stuff up. I think got jostled around. So, gonna have to figure that out. The tent still functions without it, but I liked having it. And yeah, this video is not gonna be about animals. That'll have to be next video, because I think it's important to talk about this. I think it's important to talk about mental health and decision making, and I don't want to say crisis situations, but intense situations. What decisions do you make and why? So let's talk about that. Maybe not tonight though, because I think I just need to process what happened today before I talk much more about it, because I'm kind of shook. Yeah, kind of shook. Thanks for watching though. Appreciate it. You guys help me keep me going with your awesome comments and likes and shares. So thank you. Okay, good morning. Today is going to be repair day because we're going to take our Mirage Drive that broke yesterday and we're going to fix it. So from here, I've gotten the front fin off because I'm doing a full replacement here. That I've got a full new set of fins and rods, so I'm just gonna put those on. So I've taken the front chain off, I had already taken the back chain off, and I actually have to completely replace this back mechanism here because it completely sheared off, and so that is now like seriously locked inside there. Now thankfully, I have a replacement one. It's got one gear head missing, but it'll at least fit the ticket for the time being. But yeah, we're making good progress and we've got the right tools, so we just gotta keep chugging along. You probably just realized it way before I just did, but put this on backwards. So we're gonna take it apart again and put it on right. That's okay, because, you know, it's the first time I've rebuilt this in a long time, so it's okay. Alright, we are getting close here. That we have now put a new drive socket here so that we can actually put our, where's our new fins? Our two new fins in. Don't worry, I've got the rod for it right here. But our two new fins are gonna go in. They're not the same size as the turbo fins, but they're better than nothing and they're brand new. So, I'll take it, that's for sure. Well, we just gotta screw these in and clip them in and they'll be good to go. Great thing. And with that, we now have a new pedal system. And yeah, that feels really good to be done. I mean, it only took us probably an hour and a half to do it, maybe an hour. But even if you're Mirage Drive, this is for everyone who has these Mirage drives, or just anything you have in general. I really recommend, even before things break, to just practice taking the thing completely apart and putting it completely back together. Because not only does it allow you to check for wear and tear, but secondly, you then understand your mechanism that you're working with, whether it's a bicycle or a Mirage drive or a computer or whatever it is, that if you can take it apart and put it completely back together, your understanding of that mechanism is going to be exponentially higher, which also means that you then can troubleshoot issues faster, you can fix things more efficiently, and just be a lot smarter about what you're working with. So for me, I've now completely taken this apart and put it back together twice. And yeah, we're good for another, 500 miles. So as I'm sitting here waiting for pictures to upload on my next blog post, I figured this would be a good time to talk about some of the stuff that happened yesterday. So as I was entering Port Royal Sound, which is the sound and the inlet between Hilton Head Island and then Port Royal, which is just south of where I am here in Beaufort, the conditions were not what I thought they were. I thought they were going to be east, but they were closer to northeast, so you might even call it east-northeast. But they were not the direction I was initially planning for, which also meant that the crossing was going to be a lot more difficult, because the direction I was trying to go was the exact direction that the wind was coming from, which immediately meant that going upwind was going to be a lot harder. And this boat, specifically the Hobie Mirage Adventure Island, is not super great at going upwind. And when you're going upwind on a boat, it's technically called pinching. And this does not pinch very well, and its best angle at going upwind is what I've generally found here is 60 degrees off the wind at best, if not 70 degrees. So it's not great at going upwind, and that's just part of only having one sail with no boom and being a multi-hull. So put that all together, not great at sailing upwind. And then to add even on top of that, there were so many cannonball jellyfish. And so I'd be pedaling along and I'd feel thud, thud, thud. And I can't believe that would have been good for the pedals. Cut to me fighting upwind and getting about halfway into the sound, into the inlet, and all of a sudden I feel a huge resistance lift, which meant that something just broke. First off, I was already getting emotionally drained by all of that happening, of just fighting the conditions, and then this happened. I felt super defeated. I felt just like, really, now of all times? And it sucked. Like, it really sucked. Yeah, so what ended up happening is I initially pulled out my spare parts kit and tried to fix it on the water, and realized that it was going to be a lot more intensive of a repair than I had time or mental capacity for, so I said, fine, I'll try and sail the rest of the way. 10 more miles. Which also meant that I didn't have much in the way of pedal power, and I was still trying to use it as little as possible, because if I lost the second, because if one goes, probably the other one's not far behind. If I lost the second one, it would have been almost completely, I don't want to say game over, but it would have been really bad. So once I had decided that I wasn't going to fix the pedal, I put the pedals back in, forced them up, and pushed on just with sail power. And man, I'm really glad I had my sailing experience before this. After I had made the decision to not try and fix the pedals, I was only on sailing. And so that had its own source of issues. because when you have a monohull versus a multi-hull, multi-hulls are better at jibing than tacking, versus monohulls are better at tacking than jibing. The difference between the two is tacking is when you go across the wind and it goes, when you're going across the wind, it goes across the bow or the front of the boat, and jibing is when it goes across the back of the boat. Because multi-hull boats do not carry speed well. So as soon as you went into the wind, you just lose all your hull speed. And these boats do not hold their speed well for multiple reasons. But it was a really tough decision, and if I had to do it all over again, I probably would have pulled over and tried to fix it. But, you know, the decisions that we have to live with now. Well, that certainly was not how I wanted things to play out, but no trip is complete without a little adventure, right? Thank you all so much for watching this week, and I'll be back next week talking more about decision making as I head up to Edisto Island, South Carolina. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe, give it a like, and share your thoughts down in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you out on the water.